Oh, hey. Did you miss me? If you're a noob dropshipper, a real cuck that hasn't even gone through Andrew Tate's Hustler University dropshipping course, then I can barely stand the sight of you. Honestly, you disgust me. But even though I despise you, I'm going to teach you today how to go from a complete beta male to an absolute pro dropshipper by revealing the real things that pros do that you frankly aren't doing. Now, when it comes to testing dropshipping products, I would say the biggest difference between a pro god dropshipper and a noob is just patience. A pro understands that when you test a product, there's a chance it's not going to work out the first time you test it. The first offer is not going to fit right. The first audience you market to isn't going to be the right one. The ads that you create are going to suck. And when you are testing a product, you can react to that in one or two ways.
You can be the amateur noob that says, ugh, this product, golly, it's all in the product's fault. It can't possibly be my AliExpress ripped off creatives or my product description that I stole from another dropshipper that has no clue what they're doing.
When in reality, it is usually because of that. When you're testing a product, you have to give it time. A lot of times you have to give it multiple tries. And I understand there's two different philosophies. Some people say you should kill things and then just move on, because you can get into a bit of a rabbit hole where, yes, if you do test a product over and over and over and over again and it doesn't work, you can lose a lot of money that way, and you don't want to get emotionally attached. However, what I'm saying is you should test a product typically between 3 to 4 times. Obviously, know what your budget is. So for each product I test, I like to spend around $500. So I'll do around 3 tests, spend $150 in each test, and react to the data. After the first test, you might want to turn things off and just look at what are the numbers right now. And if things are going well, then obviously don't turn it off. Don't be the noob that has something that's profitable and says,
it's too much pressure. I'm making too much money. Let me turn it off. I can't. I need to be a beta cuck for the rest of my life.
So for instance, let's say this is the first test of a product. When I look at these numbers, what am I really looking at? Well, first off, I want to see, am I profitable? Am I making any purchases? And we could see, yes, there is purchases. There is some life here, which is always a good sign with the initial test. Now, let's actually scroll to the left and see what can we improve upon. All right, our CPM's very low. We don't really need to change much, but our CTR is frankly terrible. It's at a 0.7%. This should be at least above 1%, 1.5%. So I know immediately, all right, the ad needs a little bit of a tweak. Whether it's tweaking the hookup, tweaking the music, tweaking the angles, the benefits, the marketing, you can change so many different things with your ads. Maybe just testing with an all new ad is going to be the way to go. But clearly, your ads that you're testing right now initially just aren't performing the best that they can. Or there's also a possibility that maybe one of your ads is a winner, but it's just not getting the right amount of spend. So when we go into here, we can see we have 3 ads, and let's see what our CTRs are. Okay, so these top 2 are performing very well, but this bottom ad, which has gotten a little bit of spend, is at a 0.3%. So obviously we can retest this product again and just exclude the bottom ad and just test the ones that have the right CTR, that are above our KPIs. Now, hypothetically, if my CPCs and CTRs are really good, then the next thing I would look at is how's my conversion rate looking? So we have about 170 link clicks and 1 conversion, which is frankly terrible. It's around a 0.4% conversion rate, which is good. I don't want to throw up in this episode, but honestly, these numbers are making me sick. So when I look at stuff like that, that means obviously we need to make some website changes, whether that's shortening the description, changing up the offer, adding more social proof, adding more urgency, looking at our checkout page to see if we have free shipping. There's a lot of different things you can play around with. It could be changing up the entire layout of the website because it's just not the right layout. Because I know for me, there are certain themes that I use on Shopify that sell beauty products really well, but then when I use it for a health product, it doesn't really fit compared to another different theme, or using gem pages. So you got to play around a lot of times and split test to get the conversion rate that is above your KPI goal. So to recap the first point, do not be the person that shotgun tests, that puts $50 into a product and then assumes it's a loser if it does not get you sales. It is almost never the product. It is usually going to be poor execution on your marketing and poor execution on your website. So as a pro dropshipper, coming from me, we always put a lot of emphasis on making adjustments and reacting to data. Now, I know this is an absolute flaming hot Cheeto take, but I believe there is no such thing as a winning product. Oh my God, I can already hear myself getting canceled by the dropshipping community, especially beginner dropshippers who put products on pedestals and worship them like they're gods. Because the reality is, almost any product can be a winner. If it has the right margins, if it has the right perceived value, if there's a big enough market out there for it, you can make any product a winner. You just need to execute it at a high level. And I really do believe the most important part of dropshipping is your creative. If you have a crap creative, no product is ever going to succeed for you. So yes, I'm a firm believer in e-commerce that you can almost make any single product a winner, especially when you look at the examples of very generic and very boring products in the 2000s, but then you would have the active spokesperson, the Billy Mays here with OxyClean, and he would do this dramatic example that would change lives, and it was basically the second coming of Jesus Christ, and he would make you buy so many boxes of OxyClean when really it doesn't do anything crazy. And there were so many other products out there that do the exact same thing, but they weren't selling as much as OxyClean because their ad creatives weren't nearly as good. So when we look at this product right here, this is a normal activewear dress. However, I believe with the right creative, it can definitely be a winner. But let's look at two different types of creatives. One from UGC creators on my team versus repurposed ads. Now, I'm a firm believer that UGC ads will always outperform repurposed ads from AliExpress or from TikTok, but let's just compare side by side and let's see which ad is better for this activewear dress.
Is my new favorite exercise dress. I've been wearing it all summer.
If there is a dress or a skirt with shorts attached to it, best believe I own it.
Not bad, honestly, for a repurposed ad. If you can find the right clips that also feel like UGC, yes, stitching them together will work. But again, it's execution. If you choose the wrong clips, if you have the wrong text, the wrong benefits, and if it's not enticing, yeah, the ad isn't going to perform very well, and therefore you're going to blame the product when really it's just a bad ad. Now, let's take a look at UGC ads as well from one of our creators.
Do you want to look cute while working out? Then you'll
Of course I
love
do.
This exercise dress.
Oh my
The
god, that's so
material
cute.
is nice and thin and stretchy, so it's perfect to
Oh,
exercise
go
in.
girl.
And it's also great to wear
Yes, queen. Absolutely slaying. Yes. I like this ad a little bit more because it's a little more personal. It feels like she's reviewing the product. So, yes, we've put, you know what? I'm biased. I like UGC ads, especially when they're made by my team. But just to recap, there are no winning products. There is only winning marketing. Now, when it comes to dropshipping or any business model at all, execution always beats strategies. You can have the best strategies in the world, but if you can't execute them at a high level, they're useless. And that's why in a lot of cases, you will see people that have made a ton of money with a business model a lot of times be less intelligent than you and know less than you because you're probably someone who has studied a lot, who has watched a lot of YouTube videos, courses, whatever it is. But because you didn't execute those strategies at a high level, you're seeing other people make a lot more money than you. But yet beginners, when you see them studying new business models, they're always hyper fixated on what's the latest ad strategy, what's the latest products to sell. They want people to hand them strategies and they think that's the quick fix to getting fast success. But in reality, when you study the best people in any industry, they will always say, it took me years of learning things the hard way. And you got to be prepared for that when you're new to an industry. You are most likely going to have to sacrifice months or years to get good at executing the different aspects of that business model. And with dropshipping, that's website creation, ad creation, product research, marketing, copywriting. There's so many different things, but it's not just, okay, I learned this one copywriting framework, now I'm a copywriting god. Or I learned this one ad framework, now all my ads are going to be incredible. Or I learned this
Black hat TikTok ad strategy that's gonna lower my CPMs to negative 50 cents. In fact,
TikTok is going to be paying me to get my amazing ads of my product. I mean, Jesus, it's so stupid, but you see it over and over and over again. And if you want to get good at anything, and if you're seriously wanting to get success with dropshipping, it's always practice. Every single time. You can't avoid it. There's no shortcuts here. Now, in dropshipping and e-commerce, if you don't have a reliable supplier, you don't have a business. And I can't stress how stressful it is to run a business when your supplier is unreliable and they're not shipping out things on time. It can be an absolute headache and a mess, especially if their quality control is also bad. So what I would recommend when you are scaling your e-commerce brand is find a supplier agent, a sourcing agent that you already know has been vetted by someone that you personally know. And a lot of times you want to get these recommendations from Facebook groups, Discord groups, from mentors. There are so many people that have already done the whole e-commerce scaling process and have had amazing relationships built with suppliers. So I'd recommend using those suppliers compared to trying to search and find your own. But if you are lacking in the networking department, which, hey, you know, I'm introverted too. I don't like getting out of my house. So I would say CJ Dropshipping is great. You get 1 to 2 weeks shipping on a lot of products. You just post a sourcing request for whatever product you're selling. And a lot of times you can get a great quote there. Now, personally, I use Dropship Agent NL. We've been using them at my agency. They instantly just get integrated and you add them as a staff to your store. They look at your orders and they fulfill them automatically without you having to touch anything, without having to press anything. And then they just send you an invoice at the end of the week. So I absolutely love these guys. I would vouch for them 110%. They have great shipping times, 1 to 2 weeks across the world, great product quality. So if you are looking for a supplier, I would say these guys are a great one to go with. And I would say when you are scaling, really build a relationship with that supplier, because that supplier could also be someone who is the mouthpiece for other interesting products that are selling really well for them, for other people that they can put you on so that you can also make money with those products. They can also negotiate, because the better your relationship with them, the more you're able to negotiate. And I would say every couple months, I tend to negotiate and try to lower my product costs by sourcing on different other suppliers I know in my network. So I personally have 3 sourcing agents that I like to get quotes from, so that if I am using one sourcing agent for a product, I can go to the other 2, and if they can source the product for cheaper, I can use that as leverage for negotiating a cheaper cost after a few months with working with the supplier that I've been scaling with. Now, if you are looking to make more money with your e-commerce brand, a lot of times it's not going to be through optimizing your ads or your website. It's most of the time going to be the back end of your store just isn't well optimized. So ask yourself, do you have a welcome series flow, a post-purchase flow, a abandonment cart flow? There are so many different flows you can set up that when you set them up one time will instantly make you money with the more traffic that you bring onto your store. So if you want to make your customers more valuable so that you can spend more money to acquire them, it's got to be through back-end optimization, having your flow set up, having campaigns that you send out. And every single month, you can send out around 2 to 3 campaigns, especially during this time of the year. It's Halloween season, so you can do Halloween styled emails.
Like, zoinks, man, you could have like a spooky deal of 20% off all products. That's really spooky. Ugh.
But if you work with a good email marketing agency, they can optimize your backend, send campaigns whenever you need them. They can be active and just always looking to make more money with the traffic you're bringing in. So for instance, with My Slim Waste, I did partner with an email marketing agency. So we got a big, bold headline, forget something, hey, you left this in your cart. Good, nice graphic of the product. It's customized, great buttons. Everything here is super branded. Color scheme is on point. And we're always split testing these emails. So this isn't the only email, and we also will split test different subject lines. So on this one we did, it looks like you left something behind, but you can always A/B test on Klaviyo, different subject lines, different everything to optimize and see which one gets the best open rate and the best click-through rate. Because backend optimization is also a big split test game as well. And other things you can do to optimize your backend is having the right upsells in place. So you can use Zipify one-click upsell. I personally love that app for doing post-purchase upsells. And typically you'll do an offer where, let's say you're selling a product for $20, you might do 10% off it or 20% off it if you buy another one. You can do a cross-sell of a very similar product or a product that works together with the original product that they have bought. There's so many different things you can do, but again, it comes to a lot of times setting it up, looking at the data, and then split testing to see if you can find a more profitable offer. Now, I believe if you want to have success in e-commerce, you need to have a Kaizen-like approach and realize you're never going to know everything and that you can always learn something new from almost every single e-commerce business. And I personally have been doing e-commerce for 4 years, and I feel like I know maybe 1% of everything that has to do with e-commerce, because every day, if you go into Twitter, which I believe is right now the best place to learn about e-commerce, if you follow the right people that are constantly posting about new split tests and new things that you can try around with your ads and your websites and the products that you're selecting, there is so much knowledge, but you just need to know where to look. And a lot of times I would ask yourself, when's the last time you actually invested into a course or a mentor to learn new things? Have you stagnated? Because it's very easy when you are doing e-commerce and you are scaling and you are doing ads for your one brand to get stuck in the motion of things. And I would really recommend at least once a month invest into a new course where you can learn new ideas. I know for me, I invest into the Harmon Brothers University to learn more about how to make incredibly professional ads. And I really wanted to learn, how do you make ads that are worth $500,000 or $1 million per ad that they film? And there was so many great ideas that I learned from their script, their copywriting, how they actually do their idea creation. And it was incredibly insightful. But I hear you screaming,
But Ethan, these courses are thousands of dollars.
and I'm a broke boy. And I understand. And even to this day, there's places like MMO Course. You know, there's a lot of different course places where you can get these $2,000 courses for $50. So, hey, be smart with your money. We all do it. Everyone understands it. Hey, these course creators already have enough money, so you might as well get a nice little discount. But I really do believe at least once a week, you should look at websites of pro dropshippers that are scaling and see what can you take away? What is the new trends of dropshipping that are working? And for me, the things I've been realizing is shorter descriptions are the move. Keeping it simple. Headline, 2 sentences, have a few sections, have some graphics, make the text look interesting. You don't want to have too much text in a row. Just keep it super simple, and a lot of times that works the best, focusing on the offer and a simple description with a few graphics here and there. Now, I'd say the final thing pro dropshippers understand that beginners don't is the value of your time and having a team. Especially if you're a beginner that's doing multiple business models at the same time, stop it. get some help. Because when you have two businesses, for instance, you are splitting your time 50-50 between those businesses. Compared to if you focus your time on one business, you have 100% of your time and your chance of success is so much greater. I mean, look at anyone that is successful. A lot of times they put all their eggs into one basket, put all their focus into one basket, and it is hard to do, but that usually is what results in these biggest businesses. Mark Zuckerberg wasn't really focused on real estate. He was just focused on Facebook. Bill Gates, Microsoft, Jeff Bezos, Amazon, they're just focused on one business. But if you're doing 3-5 different things, I know the whole every millionaire has 7 different streams of income. I believe that's complete horseshit. I believe most millionaires are created by focusing on one thing and getting incredibly good at getting money from that. But how does this pertain to having a team? Well, when you have your one business that you're focused on, if you're doing everything on your own, you are still half-assing it. You can only put so much time into your ad creation, your websites, into finding products. But if you have someone that is fully dedicated, that can put 8 hours a day into product research, and then you have another person that can put 8 hours a day into writing descriptions, into building websites, into ad creation. If you have different members for these different roles, they will always be better than you because they can just simply put more time into it than you can. But you have to be smart with it, because if you've never done the role by yourself and you don't know what good execution looks like, then you might hire a bunch of bozos that are going to take your money gladly but do a crap job, and you can't tell the difference. So I'd recommend do everything by yourself in the beginning 100%, because you're not going to have the budget to hire people. But once you're getting some traction and you notice, okay, this thing that I'm doing every single day is really taken away from this other activity that I know if I put more time into it will generate me more money, then yes, hire someone, because there's certain activities that will suck time but aren't very ROI positive, compared to if I put 3 hours into my ads and making new ads, that can make me thousands of dollars. But if I put 3 hours into customer support, then I might only make $50. So you got to understand which activities give you the highest ROI. And a lot of times with customer service, that'll be the first thing that you outsource. And then with order fulfillment, that might take an hour of your time, which if you put that into somewhere else, you can make hundreds of dollars. So yes, hire someone to do the order fulfillment. Hire a VA. They're very cheap. They're $5-6 an hour. They only need an hour a day to do the order fulfillment. Boom, $6, you're good. And then eventually you can hire more people. You can hire a full-time copywriter that has more experience than you and that is always studying copywriting, that knows what is working right now. You can do so many great things when you have a team in place. But again, you have to do everything by yourself a lot of times so that you can train others to execute at your level. And so you just understand the role inside and out, because a lot of times your team won't respect you if you haven't been through their shoes. And it's hard to relate to people when you haven't been through their shoes as well.